saying people died of COVID when they died of other things. And it's basically just a common cold.
Well, now with COVID, people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But there was a webcam company, and I've talked about it at length on many different podcasts. I had a business. Many girls on there were perfectly fully clothed and would paint pictures or sing and dance and laugh. I've talked about this at length. I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years, and nobody was ever hurt. I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years. I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years, and nobody was ever hurt.
At this point, like, what do you have going on? Like you're running a bunch of business. You're doing the cam girl stuff still?
Yeah, so my cam girl empire has shrunk a lot, right? At one time, I had a whole bunch of girls. I scaled it way down because having that many women work for you is just a headache. But at the height of it, it was very, very big. It got a lot smaller. But then when Corona came, I scaled it back up, right? Because Corona came, it was locked down. My casinos were closed, so I lost an income. And I thought, well, everyone's at home bored. Let me get the webcam going again. So I got 20 more girls online. We scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month. So I got back into the game hard. Even since I started my cam company 4 or 5 years ago.
There was a webcam company. I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years, and nobody was ever hurt.
But now we're coming towards the end of Corona. I'm going to keep like 5 or 6 of my main girls because they really know what to do. They don't really hassle me, and it's nice and easy. So, bro, I've settled down. I've chosen 6 girls.
Yeah,
I mean, you ramped up cam girls. You set up to 70, 80 girls at one time?
Yeah, that was at one point. So that was about 4
years.
years.
You pulled back? Was it just more trouble than what it was worth at one point?
Absolutely. So I learned with cam girls, it's better to have special forces than an army. And I'm telling you, there's nothing that's going to make you want to have sex less than have 80 girls work. It's a nightmare because you want the money. I'm a money guy. I want money. Like most guys can get distracted by tits. I can't get distracted by tits. I'd rather have money. I'd give me the money. Yeah, I'll fuck you, but then okay, now I want the money. I'm back to the money. It's none of this love crap.
So you wound it down to a handful of girls.
Yeah.
You got your Navy SEAL team sort of thing, your special forces.
So I do want you to contextualize this video that has been circulating on the internet of you talking about the Loverboy Method. So we'll take a look at that right now.
Sure. You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You f the girl. After you f the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy, you're always at work, you can come work for me.
Okay, so first question, when was this video taken?
Yeah, so this video is from 10 years ago, and this is me explaining how having a webcam company, it's actually a larger video as a whole. I'm explaining how having a webcam company can affect your relationships and how it affects your dating life. It also explains the fact that one of the girls I was dating at the time was working on webcam at the time.
And that's how it started. I'd sleep with the girl, she'd become my girlfriend, and I'd say, look, don't go work and be a waitress or work in an office. Come work here.
Were you banging the chicks too, or was it just...
All of them. All of them. So, yeah, all of them. Because they're not going to respect you or work for you or give you money. Women are only loyal to one thing, and that's the dick they're sucking. So if they're having sex with another man and it's not you, and they're making you money, the man they're having sex with is going to say, why are you working for that guy? Fuck him. Why are you giving him your money? Like, they're going to end up choosing their boyfriend over you. So the only way to prevent that was to be their boyfriend.
It also explains the fact that one of the girls I was dating at the time was working on webcam at the time. And it's explaining my general, overall, explains my life and how things are affected owning a pornography company, because obviously a lot of women will be put off by that. People are trying to chop it up and say that it says I am using the Loverboy Method to somehow convince women to do things they didn't want to do. This is obviously not the case.
In the pimp game, you need to learn how to control her and retain her. You need to make her do as you say, and you have to keep her. Yeah. You have to keep her regardless, in spite of the fact that you cheat, You're busy. You take all her money. You make her do something she doesn't want to do, and she still has to stay with you. Then you start saying things like, "Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together?" Work for you doing what? So you'll have a webcam business. "Oh, I don't want to do that." So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. Why does your girlfriend let you fuck other girls? She lets me fuck other girls because she cannot possibly leave me. She leaves me because she loves me, and I love her, and she loves me with all her heart, and she cannot imagine her world without me. If I died, she would commit suicide. I am her everything. It doesn't matter if I fuck someone else, because I'm her everything. She has nowhere else to go. Because this test was implemented and she passed it, and years have passed where I haven't taken her shit, and I've kept a position of authority, and I've just become her idol in life. It's like trying to take God away from a Christian. They'll eventually say, what's the point in being alive? What's the point in doing good? What's the point in doing bad without God? That's how your woman has to think of you. Without him, what's the point in doing anything? When you get to that point, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I can fuck who I want because she ain't gonna leave. She ain't gonna leave. If you know what I mean, like if you have a financial trouble, will she sell her car to give you the money? If you like where all the other things I can do, I don't see none of these other guys talking about. And to me, I just think that's a huge level of the game that's missing. I like knowing I've got my women who love me for real.
Yeah,
you know?
Because what you're talking about is I suppose, I think it was it McQueen who called it deep conversion? It's almost like this really like getting inside. Devotion, yeah, which nobody else, and you're right, nobody else talks about that as far as I know, because it's the pimp's skill in being able to completely dominate that woman to the point that she's absolutely hopelessly in love with you.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it's seen, like you said, it's seen as very dark, but in pimping, you see you have a gorilla pimp. And gorilla pimping's pimping through fear and intimidation. But that's very short term. You can't intimidate someone into doing something they don't want to do forever. I mean, you can't intimidate someone into doing something they don't want to do forever.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when they're making money, because they'll make money and just fucking stop answering the phone and disappear one day.
Yeah.
So it's actually not about that. It's about, like you're saying, it's love and devotion, and it's done through positivity, and it's done through them thinking, I don't want $1 million if I don't have $1 million and him. I'd rather have him than the money.
Yeah.
And it is that deep conversion, and that's how they end up getting the tattoos and stuff. This isn't me going up to girls saying, you better get a tattoo. It's 0% like that.
Yeah.
She's like, I love you. I was like, well, how do I know you actually love me? She's like, I love you forever. I said, well, prove it. Do a tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, but how do I know you're not going to leave me? Why would I leave you if you misbehave? Okay. They want to. There's no forcing involved. And you're right, that real deep conversion is something that I think is necessary for every man.
And you know how you recruit a cam girl?
No, hold on. We can come back to that, but okay, sure, go ahead. How do you recruit a cam girl?
You find a girl with half a brain who's a waitress, and you say, what the fuck are you doing this for? You get paid 20 times more to come do that. And she'll say, no, I'll feel bad, blah, blah, blah. And you'll say, look, you have a fake name, fake address. No one's going to know your real name. What's the problem? And they'll go, oh, I'll try it, but I don't want to get naked. And you'll say, cool, and they'll try it.
People are trying to chop it up and say that it says I am using the Loverboy method to somehow convince women to do things they didn't want to do. This is obviously not the case, and none of this is in the case file for a reason, because it doesn't exist and none of these women are upset. But this is simply me explaining, it's actually a dating course I made a long time ago, and it's actually a dating course.
Yeah, and I've had a few people come at me and go, why do I need your help to get a girlfriend? I don't need your help to get a girlfriend. And it's not about that. And it's not about that. The PhD course is about how I ran my webcam studio, right? So I had women who would work for me and make $100,000 a year and give it all to me effectively in return for rent and food, effectively. So how do you convince a woman to want to give you all her money? How do you convince a woman to want to obey you? Why would a woman share you with other women? Like there's certain insights in there, which I learned through my career with a webcam company. And that's basically what it is. It's hours and hours of me discussing my webcam company, how it worked. It's cobratate.com, and I've got a course on there that basically explains how I got girls to work for me.
Tate's PhD, right?
It's a PhD course, pimping hose degree.
Fuck yeah. I was wondering what it meant.
PhD, pimping hose degree.
I've seen it, I just didn't know what the PhD meant. I was like, is this his PhD in pimpology? Like, what is this?
But yeah, I basically explained how I got girls and how I got them to work for me.
Okay.
So it's not just about picking up girls, it's about like converting them into really loving you enough to moving in with you and working for you and giving you all the money. And I was very successful with the webcam company. And, you know, I still do it now, not as big as I did, but I still do. I've still got some of my best girls.
with it. But anyway, the point is, yeah, in that course, I teach how I got girls, how I got them to work for me.
The psychological aspect is the same of what we're gonna do. The skill I'm gonna teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm gonna teach you. Your goal is to inspire a girl to make money and give you the money. So the way you're gonna do that is, you have to have some element of influence. And you're gonna have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you. And that's why they don't wanna leave, because like, oh, well, he has everything, I need him. I have to stay with him, he has everything. It's important, I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control. If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is gonna have the control over her mind, as opposed to you.
So yeah, on CobraTate.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree.
Clever.
And
Clever.
that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
I'm a little bit embarrassed about it, to be honest with you, because it was 10 years ago and I was talking about women and dating and things in a way that I wouldn't talk about them anymore.
What I am lucky to have is, with the girls I live with, my main girl, my number one girl, is very well trained, and she very well understands, and she very much sees it as, it's me and my man using this girl. Not using, but fucking this girl. She is our toy, not his toy. She is our toy.
It was 10 years ago and I was talking about women and dating and things in a way that I wouldn't talk about them anymore.
Right.
But have you ever read 48 Laws of the Game? Have you ever read that book?
No.
You should read it. It's by Pimping Ken, and he was a street pimp. And he makes a very good point. One of the laws of the game is have a solid bottom bitch. And he's saying the key is, if you have one girl who truly is out, who understands you and is on your side, and you can use her to control other girls, it's so much easier. And I'm kind of lucky I have that with my I say my main girl. I have 2 or 3 main girls. I can move any new girl into any of my main girls, and my main girl will be like, look, if you talk to another guy, he's gonna kick you out. If you talk to him bad, he's gonna kick you out. You look at him wrong, he's gonna kick you out. Like they put the fear in her for me. Like they're on my side. You know what I mean? So it makes it a lot easier from that perspective. And then my main girl will come to me and say, look, I got her, she's doing everything I say. She's doing it, she's listening to us. It's very much us and them. And that's kind of how I've always done it with the pimp game and stuff. That's why I get my best cam girl with the new cam girl. It was kind of the same cycle.
What was that making you monthly when it was at its peak?
So when I had 75 girls, I was turning over $500,000 a month. Wow. Yeah.
And the tax rate on that, like, what did that look like? And was that in Romania or was that in London?
That was in England, but I was paying taxes in some other crazy country. So
what was the tax burden like? Was it heavy or was it?
The tax burden, yeah. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm saying I teach this in one of my courses on CobraTate.com, but the main reason I spoke about tax was to the girls to scare them. They were scared of the tax man. I didn't care.
Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody. Tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. Now that allows you to do 2 things. One, it's another control element. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. If they don't believe you or they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I used to do this all the time. I used to print out some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here, sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Okay, and they just sign away. I don't know what they're fucking signing. I'll throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real is happening. Nothing's happening except me getting rich, bitch.
I'm a little bit embarrassed about it, to be honest with you, because it was 10 years ago and I was talking about women and dating and things in a way that I wouldn't talk about them anymore.
Right. So yeah, you look very young in the video.
I'm super young and I'm talking about, hey, when you sleep with this girl or you meet that girl or you meet this girl on Instagram and I have a webcam company, I don't tell them I have a webcam company. And I just think all that's kind of crass and it's below me. Yeah. And I don't really like talking about it. And it's amazing how things change as you mature and you get older. But once again, I was a much younger man. I think if you were to take any 24-year-old and look at the stuff he puts on the internet, some of it's going to be stupid. And I think if you look at anybody who made things 10 years ago, some of it's going to be stupid. It's absolutely not criminal in any regard. There's nothing criminal about it. It has no bearing or any interest in the current case. But But yeah, I was talking about how I don't mention I have a webcam business. The basic premise of the video was me explaining that I don't mention I have a webcam business ever, and that I'm Mr. Rich and I have this nice car and I go on dates with girls. And sometimes when I say I have a webcam business, some of them want money and they want to work for me.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. That's one, because I had the ability to find replacements, and two, because of the industry I was in. I wanted girls to do something they'd never done before, which is get naked on camera to pay me money.
What happened was the girls are working not for money, they're working to please me.
Sometimes when I say I have a webcam business, some of them want money and they want to work for me.
The girls are working not for money, they're working to please me.
Right.
Because they love me, so they're working for attention. But I have too many girls. So if you only have half an hour per day per girl to spend time with the girl,
it's like a word problem. Was this on the SATs for scumbags? Is that?
So yeah, I had to sleep with basically every woman who ever worked for me. And that's how it started. I'd sleep with the girl, she'd become my girlfriend, and I'd say, look, don't go work and be a waitress or work in an office. Come work here.
And sometimes when I say I have a webcam business, some of them want money and they want to work for me. That's the basic premise of it.
Right. I'm glad to hear that you're not proud of the video. And I think that that's one of those things where I say that people don't allow you to grow up from things that you've done or said in the past. And this is obviously when you were operating a webcam business, you're talking about.
And that's the whole thing about the human experience. We're supposed to grow, right? And we're supposed to make mistakes and we're supposed to learn from them and we're supposed to evolve as people. And I do think that it's part of every person's journey to make some mistakes and learn from them and grow from them. And I kind of find it interesting that if I was a reformed drug addict, there'd be no problem. If I was a reformed murderer, there'd be no problem. If I was a mafia boss and I'd sit here and I'd killed 3 people and we were doing an interview and I was like, yeah, I used to kill people. I've done my time. I'm out of jail now. I get less flack than if I made a video talking about dating when I used to have a business that did webcam than I currently get, you know?
But the majority of my money wasn't made in fighting. My money was actually made in the pimp game. So legitimately as well, I say that people think I'm making it up. It's true. So this is why I think I have a bit of a following on Twitter, because I have a unique resume. Like there's a whole bunch of guys on Twitter, but not many like world champion kickboxer, pimp, mafia associated criminal. Like I've got all this stuff, and I was like, who is this dude? Like surely it can't all be true. It's all true.
I understand now that a lot of the way I said things, I certainly shouldn't have said them that way, but none of it is criminal.
Right, and it, again, has no bearing on your case today, but I want
There's literally no bearing, and it's conflation.
It's being circulated without, like, people think that video was shot last week.
Correct, and that's what's so good, because it's good to mention, because people are trying to conflate them, because in the current case against me, there's no case. Everybody understands there's no case.
I was trying to motivate girls with money. So the girls who loved me and worked for me, my main girlfriends, they'd get probably around 20% of their money. I'd keep 80% of the money they made. So they basically worked for free. They worked for my love and attention. The other girls was the other way around. I'd keep 20% for all the help I gave them, the premises, the typing. So what I started doing is, me and the other girls, I started having firing girls parties. Because what I wanted to do is I understood the psychology of women, and women as a whole are absolutely group thinkers. Females are sheep. Everyone says women are complicated. No, they're not. Women are extremely simple. Women are programmable. Women are blank slates, and they're programmed. And they're either programmed by you as a man or they're programmed by society.
We're now in a situation where if the legal system's completely fair, then the case is over. So what they're trying to do is they're going to conflate with old videos of mine, and they're going to try and muddy the waters and gaslight. And I will say that I am unhappy those videos exist, and I will say I wish I never made them, but I won't say that I'm sorry, because at the time I did the best I knew how to do.
And I think that's important for the young kids that are following you, especially the young men, to know. Like I say, I always hope that I talk about the mistakes that I made, and I probably wouldn't even categorize them as mistakes. It's just things that I did. And if I could go back, of course I wouldn't do it. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah. But it's important for them to hear that. I'm not proud of that, obviously. I'm not proud of it.
And that's why I never push them to the world, and that's why I never, propagate them in any way. Unfortunately, there's a weaponized attack against me where they still exist, and that's why I do so good to talk against them.
Telling guys it's that they can go use cam girls as a kind of therapy to feel better about themselves. Do you really think that that's helping them? Do you really think that's what those guys need?
I'm telling you why guys are doing it. I'm not advocating. I would never advocate anyone that I'm directly mentoring to go to cam girls. I would advocate for him to get a girl and put her on cam and make a bunch of money. That's what I do. That's what I do, and that's what I think every man can do. So
I thought you were a real estate investor.
Cam girls.
I mean, like dirt real estate, not skin real estate. I actually thought I didn't understand. I just assumed that you were a real estate investor when you came on, or that you had your hand in at like a casino, stuff like that. It hadn't occurred to me that you ran cam girls till after the stream. And I saw one of your tweets about being a pimp, and I said, he keeps making references to being a pimp. Well, now with COVID, people are doing auctions. You're familiar with how stocks work, right, Andrew?
I would advocate for him to get a girl and put her on cam and make a bunch of money. That's what I do. That's what I do, and that's what I think every man can do.
And that's why I never push them to the world, and that's why I never, propagate them in any way. Unfortunately, there's a weaponized attack against me where they still exist. And that's why I do so good to talk against them. And also, there has to be a degree of time. I like to think there's a statute of limitations. Like, how long are you going to hold?
They will for the rest of your career.
I'm sure they will. And it's fine. And that's fine. But I mean, it's just like, okay, 10 years ago, a decade.
Yeah, they're going to keep making you answer for it in every capacity. I've seen that. God forbid you misspeak, you miss a word while you're saying something, they will circulate it over and over again. That's just the world of social media.
For me, what I feel is I don't feel guilty about them, but I do feel embarrassed because I don't feel like the way I spoke about women or the way I spoke about romantic relationships is my current view on romantic relationships. I think I've certainly matured.
On CobraTate.com, I do have a course called the PhD course where I talk about how I got webcam girls, how I made them do anything I say. And I do have a test inside that course that something I do with every single woman I date to see if I call women blueprints, because a man makes his woman, but you can have good blueprints and bad blueprints. You can start from a good position. Some are easier than others to mold. I've been in the club before, and I had like 3 girls, and all 3 of them were like all with me. It was clear I was with all 3. And the guys were like, where do you find these girls? It's like, it doesn't matter where I find them. I make them this way. It's not like I don't just find them in some magical village where 3 hot girls all going to share one man. No, I make them this way. I convince them I'm worth of sharing. I make them not be jealous. I have built these females, and I've built them into a harem. This is my work. It's nothing to do with where I find the girls.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do. When I watch a Bond film and I see him basically pimp a bitch, to me that speaks to my heart. I've been there. I've done that. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that I first made my $1 million with a webcam business. I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money.
And these girls take a lot of shit from their friends. I'm sure you have to deal with that too, because they all come in and say, hey, this isn't fair. Why does he get to go fuck people and you don't?
Yeah, well, I'm quite lucky because my girls don't have any friends besides the other girls I'm fucking, right? So they're not allowed friends, male or female. They're in the house.
No, I get it.
So I will certainly sit here and make sure, I think the whole world understands that that's not my message. That's not what I'm teaching young boys today. The young boys who are following me today have no interest in these videos and don't watch these videos unless they're pushed by haters.
And you're already living in a penthouse, then it's easier to tell girls, look, we're gonna make some money. It's a lot harder if you have nothing to start with. If you're living in a shit apartment, a shit car, it's hard. But it's not impossible. Because, and this is actually, I'm gonna finish on this before we come back to the second video. And this is an important point. The girls don't have to be smoking hot. I know some ugly ass bitches who make money on webcam. I know some 5s and 6s. To me, a 5 is ugly because I only fuck 10s who are making money on webcam. It's not about looks only. Looks obviously help. It's about personality and positivity. She loves you. She's saying yes purely for money. Any girl who wants money that bad is gonna skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you. And if she's only in it for the money, she's gonna get pissed off with her cut. Because they're gonna Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. And get pissed off with their cut. Remember the tax things, you only have to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability.
I think that shows that the young boys are looking for a hero and someone to look up to, and I feel like I'm filling a gap. And that's why I understand it's so important I say very good things and teach very good things.
And then on top of that, if you're really serious about learning, I hate to do a plug on your channel or anything, but if you're really serious about learning, get John Anthony's course, learn how to get girls. And after that, go to CobraTate.com, and I have a course telling you exactly how to do it from head to toe and how to make money from digital pimping. No problem.
You said Cobra Tate? I just put that on the screen. CobraTate.com?
CobraTate.com. And I have a course on there that explains exactly how anybody can make money from the digital pimp game. But you need women who are going to obey you, right? If they don't obey you, then you're not going to make money.
Yeah, this is outside most guys' abilities, I think.
I have a lot of guys in my private group, a lot of guys in the war room who are doing it and pulling it off. They're not doing it like me with 75 girls and crazy, living with 5 girls. But these are guys who have one girlfriend, and their one girlfriend is now making them $5 grand a month. Like that's doable for most dudes, I think. Most guys, if you get a girlfriend and she listens to you and she obeys you, and she ain't got a job or she has a shit job, you can take any normal girl and turn 5 to 10 grand a month from the sky. If you want to live with one chick, that is doable for nearly any guy. With OnlyFans is one thing I teach, and the other thing is webcam.
I think that shows that the young boys are looking for a hero and someone to look up to, and I feel like I'm filling a gap. And that's why I understand it's so important I say very good things and teach very good things. So I will certainly sit here and make sure, I think the whole world understands that that's not my message. That's not what I'm teaching young boys today.